Visión comunal, en contacto con las comunidades.
Venezuela in the news. News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Headlines. Venezuela denounced aggressions against several members of the non-aligned movement. National Electoral Council will decide today the amount of counting tables and centers. Government approved 40% of private productive projects. The Venezuelan government denounced yesterday the aggressions against several members of the non-aligned movement. During the opening of the plenary session, the Venezuelan Foreign Minister Delcy Rodriguez alerted that the right to peace and the development of these countries is being infringed. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro stated that the international summit takes place in the fight against colonialism, as he welcomed the assuming of the pro-tempore presidency of such an important movement. The president stated that the NAM members have the largest reserves of natural resources and cultural, ecological, and political diversity of the planet. Only Venezuela has a reserve of 300 billion barrels with certified crude oil, a number that could be duplicated with the use of more modern technologies than the ones applied by Caracas and its associates. The decision to urge Venezuela to incorporate the regulations of the Mercosur is a political resolution hidden behind an administrative measure, said Uruguayan Deputy Daniel Caggiani to Sputnik Novosti. The Venezuelan deputy Eustoquio Contreras rejected the ultimatum of the founding members of the Mercosur. Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay agreed on a consensus to separate Venezuela from the pro-tempore presidency and gave the country until December 1st to complete the obligations of the bloc's accession protocol, according to the statement issued by the three countries. Two antagonistic marches were convened for today in Caracas for the second time in less than 15 days. The national authorities increased the alert levels to prevent possible violent actions. The mobilization routes do not meet, as confirmed by the authorities. Last Thursday, September 1st, a similar activity was held and ended without any losses. The opposition demands a series of unconstitutional propositions to overthrow President Nicolás Maduro from power.
Venezuela in the news.
The National Electoral Council will decide today the amount of counting tables and centers that will be deployed for the opposition to request the referendum, for which the opposition will have to collect almost 4 million votes between the 24th and the 30th of October. A spokesperson of the National Electoral Council confirmed that the institution will end today the third consecutive working session to decide which places are left to complete. The National Electoral Council will have to decide whether the counting of the votes will be held nationally or regionally. There's not a date set for the board to communicate the conclusions of the meeting. The country's Vice President, Aristóbulo Isturiz, confirmed that the Venezuelan government has approved 40% of the projects presented by the private entrepreneurs during the dialogue established 8 months ago. Isturiz stated that the business sector has presented 547 projects, and up to this month, the government has admitted 206. More than 60,000 political actors have been articulated into these proposals, summarized in 10 fundamental points for the country. During these 8 months, more than 1,200 meetings have been held on different levels and for different items.
News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Headline: Venezuela denounced aggressions against several members of the non-aligned movement. National Electoral Council will decide today the amount of counting tables and centers. Government approved 40% of private productive projects.
Venezuela in the news. News from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Visión comunal, en contacto con las comunidades.